This is the future.
Before we begin, I would just like to remind you that I will be announcing the winner on my community tab tomorrow. Be sure to check out my post who will win the Fable Warrior pack, and of course, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss every giveaways in this channel. Also, I would like to announce that I'll be giving away a Hildarin Prime Access, the highest tier pack. To join, simply comment down below on what are the best Warframe builds you have used so far in the Duviri Paradox, and then, don't forget to include your in-game name and as well as the platform you are playing. But squad leader, you are on PC, so what if the giveaway winner is playing on a console or even on Nintendo Switch? That's simple, I'll send them over some money to buy the Prime Access. There was a case that happened when I thought that the initial launch of crossplay served cross-trading, only to get disappointed because there was no option to trade the 4K Platinum that he had won. So, what we did is we used PayPal so that I can send him money and buy his prize for himself. Well, I don't care if you will buy it with Platinum or not, as long as you have one, then I'll send you over your prize. Again, just simply comment below your favorite Warframe builds for Duviri Paradox, along with you in-game name and platform to join this giveaway. Just like in the previous video, I will pin the winner here, and as well as announce it in the community tab. Good luck to you all, and now, let's begin the video. So, this weekend was fun for me, as I got to try some of the Warframes that I really wanted to go far in the Duviri missions. I tried lots of Warframes, but for now, let's focus on Mesa. If you have watched my previous video about how to mod all Warframes in Duviri missions, then you all know that there was a bug in the past that messed up the Peacemaker ability of this Warframe. It was the worst, because it seems like Mesa's exalted pistols weren't modded at all, and even unranked that it's doing little damage to the enemies in both Duviri Experience and the circuit. But right now, Mesa is finally back and it's even better, and I think, the Duviri Paradox is the highlight of Mesa. She is not just a name bot right now, but the ultimate kill bot. So how is Mesa in the Duviri Paradox? An absolute killer with her Peacemaker. I have used Mesa for a long time right now, and I can say that so far, the Duviri Paradox is the best place suited for this Warframe. Normally, I can use Mesa's Peacemaker against level 100 plus enemies, but after that, it would be better to go with an endgame weapon as the damage of the Peacemaker is slower compared to just killing enemies with a primer gun and melee condition overload build. But Duviri Mesa is built different because you can stay and survive for a long time, and it can deal massive damage even against level 1000 plus enemies. How did this happen? First of all, because of the deadly decree intrinsic of the Drifter. Every time you get a decree, you gain 10% bonus damage to your exalted pistols. Also, there are decrees that makes the Peacemaker Mesa overpowered and super broken in a good way, and I'm about to discuss them one by one. First off, let's talk about the best of the best. When it comes to Mesa's damage, Twofold Torment and Vicious Barb are the two main decrees that gives you that huge damage boost. Now, you might say that you are not building your Mesa for status and just elemental, so Twofold Torment won't work, but there are other decrees in the Duviri Paradox that gives guaranteed status procs. Also, it's really good to build for hybrid status and critical on Mesa's exalted pistols now if you are going in Duviri Paradox, because the double damage from status and critical are really game changing and let Mesa be an overpowered DPS in the Duviri missions. Next, we have those decrees that helps maintain your energy and have energy to cast your Peacemaker every time. Morale Boost will regenerate 5 energy per second, and Drifter's Transference Bar fills 20% more when you are at full health. The Bounce Back decree will refund 25% of energy spent on Warframe ability cast. On Drifter ability cast, the Transference Bar fills 30% more for 6 seconds. Next, we got Envious Economy decree will give you 90% chance at max that the next ability cast to have no cooldown for Drifter or cost no energy for a Warframe, after casting an ability. And lastly, the Proficient Fighter decree that gives 45% ability efficiency on Warframes. Get all of these decrees, plus the build I will show later will allow you to activate Peacemaker whenever you want without worrying of energy problems. Another great thing about the Duviri missions is that it fixes the survivability of Mesa against enemies beyond 300 plus. Even with the Mesa's Waltz augment, the Warframe is still vulnerable to damage and can't do anything about being hit by enemies while she is in Peacemaker form. The only thing you can rely with is when you do have range for shooting galleries, crowd control and the damage reduction from your shatter shield. However, this means that you will sacrifice duration over range, which I think is one of the most needed in a peacemaker setup. The first degree that can help Mesa in terms of survivability is the Nourishing Terror, wherein you can regain 100 health at max per status you inflict. With the build I'm about to show, you can literally out-heal enemies as long as you are using your exalted pistols. And, if you are at higher levels in the Duviri missions, then go get the Greedy Heal degree, which heal you by 50% of your health at max after killing an enemy. And lastly, let's talk about the other things that makes Mesa stupidly broken. Now, I know that the degree you get are pretty random, and you can't always get Twofold Torment and Vicious Barb first, or the efficiency decrees needed to cast Peacemaker every time. But don't you worry, as there are other decrees also that boost the damage of your Peacemaker. First, we got Critical Frost that allows you to deal 200% cold damage when you land a critical hit, which is kind of broken with Mesa knowing that we are building for a hybrid regulator pistol. And mind you, the cold procs are guaranteed procs, and, if you got viral, this doesn't get added to the viral status and it's a separate cold proc. Now, this pairs well with the next decree called Shattering Impact, as you will deal more damage to enemies that are affected by cold procs. It gets even insane as Fearsome Bonanza decree also does proc when Critical Frost hits a target, and every time you hit enemies that are close to each other with your Peacemaker, Fearsome Bonanza procs and gives you additional 100% damage boost. There's also the 150% boost in damage at max from the Deadly Momentum decree. Just keep moving and you will maintain that 150% damage boost for your Peacemaker. And then, there is the Irresistible Bombardment that grants more fire rate to your Peacemaker. My build is loaded already with lots of fire rate, and more means it doesn't just increase the DPS, but it also allows Mesa to overheal enemies in the Duviri missions, given that you already have the Nourishing Terror decree. And there's the Persistent Attrition decree that makes the target 10% more vulnerable to damage with each shot. This is just an insane perk for Mesa's Peacemaker, but I'd just like to add that this needs further testing though. I'm not very sure yet if it's really working with Mesa's Peacemaker, and if you have an experience using this degree on Mesa, feel free to comment it down below. So, these are all the Decretion Drifter intrinsics that boosts Peacemaker's damage. And now, let's get into the build section of this video. So this is my build for Mesa when it comes to Duviri missions. I know there are some controversial choices here, so let me explain why I choose to build Mesa this way. First of all, I go with tons of duration not only to lower the energy drain of Peacemaker, but to also give high duration to Nourish, Shattered Shield, and Shooting Gallery. This way, I don't need to recast these abilities more often and enjoy Peacemaker. Now, in the case of Nourish, I know some of you will say that this subsume ability is suboptimal for this build because it has no range, which means you can't benefit from the viral procs. Well, I'm not using this for viral procs, but for the energy multiplier. In the early phases of the Duviri mission, I was having a hard time maintaining my energy even with a max arcane energize, as I needed to reposition my Peacemaker most of the time. Why not use Mesa's Waltz though? I really hate to stay in the ground, as most of the time, I jump and cast Peacemaker so I can hit those enemies far away from me. I move a lot when using Peacemaker, and that's my play style. Going back to Nourish, I simply use this for the energy multiplier when I pick up energy orbs so I can maintain my energy while waiting for the efficiency decrees to appear. When you get the efficiency decrees, Nourish will be pretty much useless though, so it's really a personal choice, as I want to use Peacemaker frequently even at the early stages of the game. Also, I would like to explain Staggering Shield on this build. Many would say that it would be good to put Mesa's Waltz in here for smooth gunning, but I prefer Staggering Shield for more survivability. I got 95% damage reduction from Shatter Shield, plus, if I get the Nourishing Terror decree that heals me for every status I proc, then I can ensure that my Mesa can survive when I am using Peacemaker. Shatter Shield is here for additional safety for those bombard rockets that can one-shot me at high level. With this, I will not worry about being nuked to the face and just focus on killing and healing. So this is the Mesa build I have for the Duviri missions. This is great in the Undercroft mission, especially in Steel Path levels of the circuit. I have more Duviri builds coming up and lots of things to giveaways, so stay tuned and I hope you are enjoying the content. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.